Hey, welcome everyone. This is Groove Swing Speaks, and I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in each and every day on this network. You guys already know that we're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with the finest in broadcasting anywhere around the globe. Music, talk, sports, comedy, and entertainment, and a lot more. So stay tuned right here on The Buzz. And now I am so excited. We have a special guest with us tonight. That is none other than Cheryl Miller. Hey, Cheryl, how are you?
Hello, hello. How are you?
Terrific, terrific. And I have brother Robert Hicks. I'm not sure you guys know each other or not.
We do.
Robert Hicks,
We met
Yeah,
in the chat.
yes, absolutely.
oh, you met
I,
in the chat, so now you know. Hey, that is fine. I'm so excited about having you on, and you and I spoke off air several times before this broadcast, probably more extensively than anyone I've spoken to in a long time. And that is okay because that means that you prepare and you want to do the best you can to make sure that everything is as proper as possible, correct as possible. So anyway, what I want to do, we have a couple. Maybe Tiffany will join us. Tanisha Holmes, she's a regular on the panel, and my brother Clayton Brown, he's a regular on the panel, and perhaps they will join us. I understand they are out on assignment right now. So the three of us, we'll just get together and have a great time. And also our brothers and sisters around the globe, hey, please let everyone know about this broadcast. We're available on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and also our website. That is studiow.buzz. Jot it down if you will. Studiow.buzz. We have two free apps. Android is simply Studio W. Go to your Play Store and download Studio W. Apple Studio.w. Available on Google Play, Apple CarPlay, and Alexa. Oh, there's Tiffany right there. Okay. Hey, yeah. Welcome to the set. Our swing sister, another swing sister, Tiffany Hilliard. Tiffany, meet your sister, Cheryl Miller. I
Hola.
sent you
That's it.
information.
Hola.
Absolutely. Oh, and we're going to get right into it because there's a lot of information that Cheryl sent me. Okay. Hopefully, I can keep up with all of it. But I'm going to start off with your bio. I'm not going to read it because it's extensive. So I want you to tell us about Cheryl Miller and take it from there. You can tell your story better than I can.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for answering all my questions and being such a gracious host. And I want to shout out to my sister, Rocky Rouse, for tapping me and recognizing that I have some information to share with you guys. Um, Born and raised in New York, Um, I'm what's known as a native New Yorker. That means that both of my parents were born in New York, and actually one of my grandparents, set of grandparents, was born in New York as well. Um, Went to school in the public school, New York City public school system, Queens, New York, mostly high school in Queens, New York, and I graduated from Bennett College, pledged there, Blazing Bell chapter, fall of '72. And I went to Pratt Institute and majored in city and regional planning, worked in city and regional planning for probably almost 20 years. And so my focus and interests have been in community development, neighborhood revitalization, specifically in housing. And that kind of led me to photography in a way that I really was unaware of making that connection. I've been a photographer probably for as long as I can remember, meaning that um, I was raised around cameras. We always had cameras. We always took pictures in my family. I actually have some of the cameras. I inherited some of the cameras from my family, and basically on an assignment while I was at Pratt, I was taking a transportation planning course, and they sent us away on assignment. And I took a camera. Wasn't intentional about being a photographer until then, so I got hooked after I had taken some photos on that trip to Baltimore. It was transportation planning at that time. They were expanding and developing the Baltimore Harbor. So I came back and I was hooked, totally hooked, and began to focus on my community. As I said, born and raised in South Jamaica, and what I found in just being observant is that the media had just infiltrated us with negative images or portrayed us in a negative way. And so I decided that I wouldn't be one of those people that, or one of those photographers that would take negative images. And I wanted to document the joy, the resilience, the resistance to all of the kinds of things that have kept us oppressed in a way since the Middle Passage. We are the survivors of the descendants of Middle Passage, and I wanted to, in some way, exhibit how our lives were and are when we are not under the gaze, when we're simply being ourselves, when we're simply living our lives and upholding our traditions and our cultures and honoring our ancestors. And
Right. I tell you, I'm sorry. Please continue.
no, go ahead.
No,
I'm
no, I didn't want.
well,
Sometimes I need to
basically,
wait a few extra seconds.
I dropped something.
I,
No,
I'm sorry,
I
but I
wanted,
find
I
continue.
wanted, I wanted to say that that ultimately parlayed in um, me exhibiting my work and my work being collected and in the permanent collections of art institutions. And basically, it's something that I was able to do in terms of, if you're able to show the images, is build relationships with people in the community and shine a light on a community that in Queens. And I mean, we've seen a lot of New York images. We have a lot of images of Brooklyn. We have a lot of images of Harlem. We have a lot of images of the Bronx. But I wanted really to focus on South Jamaica and the community that I was raised in, the community that I built relationships in, and um, create images or make images that are relatable, uplifting, those that would bring memories. I want you to look at the image and think of a time in your life that uh, they help you relate to.
I, you notice I paused that time. Yes, I just want to make sure you got it all in because I understand now you've been doing this. Has it been professionally for 40 years plus?
Yes, I started out, and this body of work is entitled "If We Stand Tall," but I have an archive of over 40 years, and yeah, I've been photographing for that long and documenting our culture for that long.
Mm, okay. And Brother Robert, if you will, would you give us your website so put it on the screen so the audience can visit your website. And your website is
My website is Cheryl Miller, CHERYL, Miller.photoshelter.com. If you'd like to go there and look at those images. Did you have the link that we discussed?
I do. And hopefully I can navigate this properly, but give that to us one more time in case
Cheryl
some of the
Miller,
audience may have missed it.
CHERYLMILLER PHOTOShelter.com.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Hey, Tiffany, say hello to your sister, and we'll come back to Robert, and then we're going to show some of these images. It's quite a collection. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through each and every one of them. We're going to take our time with that, and I would like for you, Cheryl, to even comment and tell us why did you decide to capture the particular image that I'll show on the screen.
Sure.
Hola, sis. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good. I'm good. I think we probably have met before, but it's probably been a long time. Um,
Yes.
And you said what chapter you said that you originated out of from Swing Five Swing?
Bennett College, Blazing Bell chapter.
So you was in there with my swing mother, Cheryl Cornegay.
Absolutely. Cheryl and I grew up together.
Yes. Okay. Yes, because she's from that area.
Yeah, she's my best friend. She was my best friend.
Yeah, that was my swing mother.
You
Uh,
know what? Now that I think about it, your name and your face, yes,
mhm.
it sounds familiar. I remember her referring to you.
Yes, ma'am. That's amazing. Both of y'all name are Shells, and y'all both, came from that era, and that's yes.
Yeah,
Nevertheless,
she took me over. She was my dean of pledges.
okay, awesome.
In addition to being my best friend, which is interesting.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yes.
That is
Okay.
really cool.
What did you can you tell us again, what did you originally go to school for? What was your major?
Oh, sociology, psychology.
Sociology.
And,
Oh,
and
okay. So that's awesome how that kind of also plays with your photography in a sense.
very much so. I didn't really make that connection right away. It was somewhat of an osmosis kind of thing, just
Mhm.
because of my interest in community and people, and then going on to grad school and city and regional planning, and it sort of came together in a way that I didn't plan at all.
Wow. That's amazing how God just kind of orchestrated your whole path. Um if it had not been for that, sociology and psychology, did you ever think about doing anything else? Or was you always this person who was just interested in your people?
I I think that well, long story short, my father wanted me to be an artist. They recognized early that I had artistic abilities.
Mm,
And I kind of poo pooed that because I was more interested in, saving the world as a young person and going into first,
Mhm.
it was social work. I went initially for social work, and then I got kind of disillusioned once I saw how the social work system worked, and I
mhm.
changed my major to sociology, psychology. But so documenting our life, our culture, building relationships, interacting and engaging with people has always been an underlying uh, force, I guess, in whatever my interests are. I have a lot of interests, but um, I would say yes. I've always been that person. In answer to your question.
Mhm.
Awesome, sweet. I guess Robert can go next.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
let me lead into it real quick because Sister Cheryl, something that you said is very interesting. You were out there and you wanted to display and showcase the positive images that come out of our communities and our society. And you know how mainstream media is. What do you see? It's always something negative, and I think that's by design. That is my feeling about that. But you chose the positive outlook on this. And that's what this program is all about. And Robert can expound on a little bit more because we want to showcase the positive images or the positive attributes and uh, uh, contributions that our culture has. And it's so rich and it is hidden. But like I said, I think it's on purpose, but I'm not going to go there right now. But you encapsulate, and with your work, encapsulate exactly what this program is all about. We deal with positive images in business, education, medicine, whether it's mental health, physical health, whatever it is, education. There's so much more that we have to offer. And so our goal is to showcase this around the world with this platform. Robert?
Yes. And also, it's good to hear being a native New Yorker from one New Yorker to another. Thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thank
I'm
you.
originally from the Bronx, New York myself, and I had a chance to take a look at some of your work here, and it is amazing the different type of genres that you have that you've worked on. You have the the spirit, for the spiritual, and basically kind of a little bit of a religious side to it, but it's definitely, I would say, more spiritual. The only reason I like to say religion, but you also have being able to coming home. That's another great and powerful message that you have with the various different photos that you have. You also incorporate hip hop as well, and that is something that not a lot of people probably don't see so much of hip hop so much in a bright light, but you were able to capture it, Sister Cheryl, in an amazing light, and I have to say that that's very impressive. Where are some of your work exhibited other than on the internet?
I just closed the show. There's a Photoville Festival in New York every year. This is the 13th year, and I had a solo exhibition there, and entitled "If We Stand Tall." By the way, "If We Stand Tall" is a book project that I'm working on, so that's kind of the in terms of the images that are on display right now. Are all of those images. I'm not sure yet when the book is coming out, but it's coming. Stay tuned. Coming up the end of this month, I'm in an exhibition in Syracuse, New York, at Lightwork organization. They're having a group show that I'm part of, and I'm literally exhibiting in various places that ask me to exhibit. When galleries or art institutions are interested, I comply. But I'm also very discerning about where it is I show and what I show and when I show, because again, I don't want to be affiliated with anything that's negative or portrays us in a negative light. I'm very conscious about that. So
Right.
I'm also on Instagram, Cheryl Miller Photo Archive. You can see my work there.
Yes, I'm taking a look at that right now. Oh,
Absolutely.
impressive.
And that has a lot of coverage on the Photoville Festival as well.
I talked to Sister Cheryl earlier, and she sent me these slides that I want to say images. Yeah, you call them slides, but images. I found them intriguing, and let's see if we can make this work for you, Sister. Let's see. Hold on 1 second.
There you are.
There we are. Let's go back. I want to go back to the. Oh boy, let's go back to the very beginning. You can tell that I was looking at these earlier, and so we're going to go one by one. Okay.
What you can do is, if you can find the link, that'll enlarge it so you don't see the writing on the side.
Okay. I can go full screen.
Right.
Okay. But let's see if we can make that work. Okay.
If you go back to the first one.
Okay. Let me know when I'm there.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. Let me know when I'm there. Oh, before that,
Go back.
right here.
Right.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about this. Now, is this you, and are you reciting poetry, or what are you doing in this particular slide?
Well, I want to say that I'm in all these images, but you can't see me. But no, that's not me. I'm an observer, and I'm part of that. This is Kwanzaa. Every year, our community and our family and friends, we get together on the last day of Kwanzaa in Mani. And we typically were doing it in each other's living rooms. This happened. We had grown to the point where we were in a community center, a local Rochdale Village community center, and we went through a program. We had a program, a Kwanzaa program, and what you see here is someone who is literally doing a cleansing, a spiritual cleansing, and you see the reactions of the participants, of the people there. But we would go through all the principles and all of the rituals of Kwanzaa every year with the children, the elders, and this was what I was able to capture. My images from this series are in the from the, I want to say, the late 70s all the way to the 90s.
Mm.
So these are that old. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Unless you have any questions.
Any questions from the panel? I'm going to move to the next.
I do have a question. What was it like being there when you had when you was present? Like, what was it like capturing those photos?
Well, one of the things that I mentioned before about building relationships, either I know these people or they know me, or we're from the same community. So it was seamless. It was not like they're posing for the camera. Hopefully the relationships that I built allowed my subjects to just forget about they were being photographed, because I was as much a part of the ceremony as they were. So I'm not an outsider taking image or making images of strangers. I am part, in most cases, I'm part of the situation. So that's why I say I'm there. You just can't see me.
Gotcha.
I'm involved.
Okay.
This one, can you tell us when was this taken? What year? I'm
This
looking at the
was,
cars.
yeah, this was
17
in
something.
around, I want to say 85, 86. And that's actually on the block that I live on, or I lived on when I lived in South Jamaica, 108th Avenue, 165th Street. And all these children are adults now, obviously, but they were local neighborhood kids. One of them is my son. And those are his friends. And they were just cutting up. You know how in the summertime, if you can remember,
Yes.
this is entitled Hilarity, because they would just, they would just cut up and have fun. And there's a time when you didn't have any cares. You were playing, and this is not something that happens anymore. Children don't play outside anymore. They're
Wow.
on their devices. They don't interact. They don't have friendships outside of school in most cases, because they're on their devices. So a lot of these images represent a time that, as that no longer exists. And so
Mentally, that that makes it so different. Then versus now, and you are taught right now, don't talk to anyone. You don't play with that child. Stay inside. Uh, this okay. I just bought you an iPad. Let that keep you company. And it is such, I think, a disservice to our children. They don't get a chance to go out and play. Growing up, we went out, we played basketball, played football, we joked around, we loved music, and we did a lot of this stuff outside, especially when it.
we
Well,
played outside all day till it got dark.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I said, yes, I'm agreeing. We played outside all day until it got dark.
Until it got
Our
dark.
parents didn't see us until it was time to come in, and time to eat
Right.
dinner.
Okay.
And so this was a time where long-lasting relationships are built, friendships are built, and all of them are still friends today.
Absolutely. Okay.
And
And panel, feel free to jump in. The barber shop. What did the barber shop mean to your community?
Well, it's more personal than that. That's Mr. Tom Ellaby. He had a barbershop on New York Boulevard, and he pretty much cut everybody's hair, all the boys' hair. He cut my father's hair, cut my son's hair. And barbershop represents, and you probably see another slide, the same thing as a beauty shop represents, the ability to not just get your hair cut, but to interact and engage and find out what was going on in the community, and converse with one another. And so Mr. Ellaby was kind enough to allow me to take this photo. But one of the things that I wanted to do was capture these kinds of things, because when you say, well, what does it mean to your community or my community? What does it mean to all of our communities? We know that barbershops and beauty salons are very, very important. And so this was one of the rites and rituals, and I call it, I wanted to capture and represent, so that even though you don't know Mr. Tom Ellerby and his customer there, you might be able to relate to that
Hmm.
experience.
Hmm. Like you said, the barber shop, the beauty shop. That was it was more than that. It was a meeting hall, and ideas were discussed. It was like having a town meeting. Just happened to be in a barber shop or music
Absolutely.
shop. I mean, beauty shop. So well. Oh wow!
Ne-
And I noticed that
oh, go ahead.
all of your photos are in black and white. What's the reason?
Well, not only are they all in black and white, they're all on film, and that's analog, which is something that's coming back now. But for a long time, for about 20 years, film was considered old and outdated. And one of the things about black and white is, well, I had a dark room in my house, and I developed all my own film, and I printed all of my own images. And one of the things
Hmm.
about that is it allowed me to control the style, the way that it looked, the exposure, and
Hmm.
I really focused on consistency. So I used the same camera, same film, the same chemicals in the dark room, the same paper, and that way I wanted to have a certain style that would be connected to me and my work. Now, something that I mentioned before, a lot of my friends are artists, painters, and they on other mediums. And when you look at their work, you can immediately identify who they are just by the style of the way they paint, the colors they use.
Hmm.
And I wanted that same feeling or that same result. And so black and white film, contrast, being consistent, um, hopefully helped me achieve that. So that's
I think it
I
does.
just I just
Hey, Robert, in my opinion, I'm sorry, Cheryl. In my opinion, it seems like you have captured and impressed more than you could have or than you would have if it were color. It's something rich about black and white photography. And I can see you right now in your film room or your dark room. Now, I used to see on TV and never seen this in person. Tell us how this happened. Wasn't there a blank sheet of paper and you had to? Was it you had to put it in some type of solution before it came uh, to fruition?
yeah, yes, it's a dark room in the dark, chemicals, three chemicals in my case,
Uh,
and you had to expose the negative to the paper. But even before that, you had to develop the film in a container, a tank, developing tank, and you had to hang it up. You had to
hmm.
let it dry. Once it dried, you put it in the enlarger. You expose it to the paper. Then you take the paper through the chemical process. And for me, so much of that is being in control of the image. So
Hmm.
now, if I don't have a darkroom anymore, but I have to relinquish that control to somebody else, to a lab.
Hmm.
Somebody else has to develop the
Mm.
film, so I don't know what they're going to get. Hopefully, they'll get what I need. Somebody else prints my work, and I work with a lab where I'm able to be hands on and let them know if this is the way it should be or this is the way I want it. So it's a different experience, but again, technology has allowed me to resurrect actually some of these negatives that are over 40 years old. So it was a process, but it was a very rewarding process to be able to develop film, take it, make an image, expose it in your camera, develop the film, and then see it come up in a chemical
Mm.
on paper as the image that you captured.
I find it fascinating. At what age did you start doing this?
Well, I gotta say, I've always been taking photos. I have an image that I made when I was 8 years old, and
Wow.
and
Mm.
so I didn't realize it then. Even someone had to point it out to me that someone remarked. They said, "Well, Cheryl, you've always You always had a camera. You always taking pictures. I wasn't intentional about photography until I got into grad school, honestly. And I
Mhm.
really took those
Okay.
images and
But
decided, okay, this is where I'm going now. After I had gone to school for uh, city and regional planning, I'm self-taught. I didn't go to school for photography or art.
that's my point. That's my point. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely incredible. I'm going to the next slide.
Thank you.
And
Brother,
I want to
Now
say
this,
something in regards to your imagery is just something about the black and white image.
yeah,
It brings out the simplicity and just looking at the rawness of each of the photos, where
mm,
color basically would probably just have you just all over the place. But this just focuses in on the images, on the people, on the activity in
absolutely
this color and in this background.
yeah,
I agree. Color gives you everything all at once,
right.
in a sense, and it's not a negative. It's just that it's a choice for me because I've seen
Mm,
many beautiful color images. This image is entitled Milton's Barbecue. Milton Smith uh, is a family friend. He grew up with my brother, and he used to give a barbecue. And what I wanted this to resonate is any barbecue. If you look closely, you see people interacting and doing a lot of different things.
mm-hmm.
And hopefully it reminds you of Frankie Beverly's "Before I Let Go." You know,
Right,
the barbecue, the barbecue song. Hopefully that comes to mind.
right, right. I'm looking at the sister on the left there with this huge phone up next to her ear. Now, it was normal back then.
Yeah, and that was a cordless phone. It wasn't a wireless. Remember, we had the
Right,
cordless phones, and
Yes.
you could go maybe 25 feet from the base
right,
and make a call.
right.
Absolutely.
So at that time, she was ahead of her game. She was modern then at that time. This is really good stuff. All right, let's do
Next
this.
slide. This is. I wanted to represent motherhood. I want to represent the, I guess, the intimacy between a mother and child, and nursing. And I
Hmm.
think that I was very fortunate to be able to have this access. I know the mother, and also now the young lady. She just had a birthday, so she's in her 30s at this point.
Amazing.
Yeah. So again, the relationships that I was able to build to be able to get these images are just amazing, and I'm just grateful to be able to have this kind of access. And you see a lot of images, a lot of great images, but they are taken by an observer, someone who has no interaction necessarily, or very little interaction
Hmm.
with their subject. Great images,
Right.
but for me, I was there. This is not something that I took, stood back, put a long lens on, and captured without them knowing
Absolutely.
I was taking the image.
Hmm. It
Yeah.
tells me there was a trust factor there with your uh, uh, clients. I'm gonna just use the word client for the lack of a better word.
Subjects, yes.
Subjects. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the next one. Oh boy.
This is Tawana and Boone. This is a favorite of mine. This was taken in around 1980.
Right.
And again, all these images are taken in South Jamaica,
Okay.
Queens. And this is on 160th Street in front of the place where you pay your gas bill.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
I think it's Con Edison, actually, in New York. And Tawana and Boone are siblings. They're sister and brother.
Okay.
And they hail from North Carolina. And Boone, if Tiffany's still there, you still there, Tiffany?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Boone is Cheryl Cornegay's first husband,
Ah, how?
and that's, when she was Cheryl Johnson Boone at one time. But anyway, they're standing in front of a Rolls Royce,
Yep.
and Tawana had come up to visit. They're from North Carolina. Boone was living here, and it was just a good opportunity to just pose.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the joy on their faces, the ability to interact with them was important. It was an important, and then in front of a Rolls Royce. At that
Mm-hmm.
time, it looks old now, but it was
Of course.
a really great, and it's still, I guess, a really great vehicle, no matter how old it is. A Rolls Royce is a Rolls Royce.
Right.
Next
Now,
slide.
you guys that's listening on YouTube, you can see these images right now. Also, Facebook Studio W The Buzz. So you might want to switch there if you're on some other platform of ours. It will be up in its entirety on our website by tomorrow, and that is Studio W Buzz. Studio W Buzz. Uh, Also, Spotify, Google Play, Alexa, Apple CarPlay, and Google Play. So you don't want to miss this. Great conversation, but it also enhance the images enhance this conversation. So you guys don't want to miss that.
I do have a question. To your knowledge, is Mr. Boone still living?
I'm sorry.
Is he still living?
Boone, yes, he is. He's in
Oh,
Florida.
okay.
Mm.
Um, this is Grandma's garden.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Oh, I see fresh tomatoes. I see fresh tomatoes.
Beautiful.
This is Grandma's garden, and what this embodies for me, these two children are good friends, grandchildren, and she had a great garden in her backyard, and they were running around, and it's like they popped up along with the tomatoes, and these are the seeds of the seeds she sowed her grandchildren.
Mm,
So for me, it's that kind of a little bit of poetry there
yeah.
in terms of, and they too are adults. This had to be 94,
Wow.
so they're adults now.
So
They're
they're
all,
still very young. Still very young. I'm looking at their eyes, and they're looking at the. So I'm taking. This is probably a first photograph. They're wondering what's going on. I mean, oh, it is precious. It is absolutely precious.
thank you.
Okay.
All
Whoa.
right, this is Wall of Promise. Now this is a sixth grade graduation. That young man, Robert, is a kindergartner. So just to put it in perspective, this is a kindergartner addressing a sixth grade graduation. Brilliant young man. And it's entitled Wall of Promise. And this was taken at PS40. And Wall of Promise, and you can see the dais, the elders on the dais, sitting there, along with the principal and some of the elder teachers and educators. But the premise is, I can be anything that I want to be. I
Mm-hmm.
can become a chancellor, doctor, engineer, and so on and so forth. And it just speaks volumes to, just how great we are, even from a kindergartner's perspective
Right.
at a sixth grade graduation.
That is extremely inspiring. That's inspiring. Be anything that I want to be. Yes, absolutely. This is, like you say, I agree with you 1,000,000%. Is that your photography? It has a positive effect to those who are listening, and also, I wish that you guys. I'm telling you right now, you can go to YouTube Studio W The Buzz, Studio W The Buzz, our Spotify. It's to be up on Spotify tomorrow as well. That is Buzz. Let's see, Buzz Jams 2. Buzz Jams 2. You can check that out. Google Play, Apple CarPlay, and Alexa. You guys don't want to miss this. And I think we're going to replay this sometime. I'll let you know, sister, when we replay this.
Thank you.
Oh, tell us about this one.
This is Thelma Jones. Thelma Jones used to keep me, as they say. She used to be my babysitter, and she lived across the backyard, which would be around the corner. Her front door, this is her back porch. Uh, she lived around the corner from us, and she was a deaconess at Amity Baptist Church, which was across the street from her, from that house, and she's standing on her back porch. And this was a Sunday, and she got dressed up every Sunday just to go across the street, you know.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I said, Miss Jones, can I take your picture? And she said yes. And she ended up babysitting my son as well, which is incredible. And just her and her husband, Mr. Jones, he owned a barbershop, and he went to work. His barbershop was in another part of Queens for Rockaway. But, you know, she was, you know, getting up in age. If she was keeping my son, you know, she was actually getting up in age and very independent. She used to pick him up from school after, keep him after until I got home from work. And she had a stroke ultimately, but it didn't totally, disable her. But I could see that she was beginning to decline, and she really never ever didn't ask me for anything or my knowledge. And so one day she knocked on my door, and I was like surprised to see her. I was like, Miss Jones, you know what she wanted? She wanted me to help her put batteries in her remote control.
Wow.
She had gotten to the point where she couldn't really deal like that. And that really, you know, it just brought back a ton of memories for me.
Oh, boy.
She kept me, she kept my son, and now I can do that little thing to help her.
Right, right.
How old was she during this picture?
Oh, I think she was probably 80, 79, 80, maybe 82.
That's good.
I know she was still driving. She was still doing a lot of things, you know. And again, she was a deaconess in her church. I have another image, not here, but I have an image of her dress called Deaconess's dress. She washed it out by hand and hang it on a hanger on the clothesline. And that was that's what bothers me in terms of, you know, her commitment to her faith and the church, and those are the kinds of, you know, things that are deep rooted for us. Next slide. If
Yep, you never forget. Yep, you never forget those things. Matter of fact, I see that is a clothesline on the top left, top right, isn't it?
That's the clothesline that she hung it on. Very observant.
Did she have any children of her own?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And, you know, they were grown. They were older than me, so they were grown while. Oh, and she had a grandson that was one of my friends, Gregory. We grew up together. And that image that I said that I took when I was 8 years old was of Gregory and Barbara, because she used to keep Gregory for her son, and she kept me and Barbara and Gregory together. And so I took a picture of Barbara and Gregory, my little friends, and I want to say we gave her a run for her money. You know?
I bet you did.
Because she would send you out for a switch. She was like, in the backyard, you know, tear our little legs up.
And she seems like one of those that wasn't going to chase you. You had to come home sometime.
No.
She wasn't going to chase you. I could see the look on her face.
Well, we were in a controlled environment, so we really had nowhere to go.
Oh, wow. This one.
Okay, this is Nina and the twins.
Okay.
Nina and her husband, Michael, were good friends of mine. And they had already had 2 children, 2 sons. And Nina had said to me, you know, I don't have any maternity pictures of myself. And she wanted to take some pictures. Wow. So I went by their house, and I didn't really see any place in their living room or dining room or that area that I thought would really make a good image. So she said, well, why don't we go up to the attic? And the attic happened to be unfinished. And so I was looking around the attic and I was looking to see where it would be that I could take an image. And this window grabbed me because of the light. And she had on that kind of like a lace type dress.
Mhm.
And she stood in front of it and I'm like, that's it. That's it. And I literally, at that time, I felt like I could see those twins.
Mm. Oh man, you know the difference between a photographer and someone who takes pictures is that you are able to get the right image, and you seem to. And how old were you when you took this picture?
How old was I?
Yes.
I don't know. I was an adult. This was in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
this
you
was in
still
the
had an
90s.
eye.
Oh, I still make images.
Okay. Well, guess I don't doubt that. But there's, like I said, there's a difference between someone who has a camera and someone who's a photographer. There's a difference. Oh boy, let's talk about this.
Okay, this again is PS40. This is Mr. Kelly's fourth grade class. It's entitled Fourth Grade. Mr. Kelly, master educator, but the most important thing is he was a black man that could be a model for students in a predominantly black neighborhood, predominantly black school. And he engaged his students in a big way. My son was actually in his class. And so I had access. At that time, I was probably doing photography more so than anything else. So I was home during the day and I was able to go up to the school and interact with the teachers, and just be that parent. And so I'd asked him if I could make some images, and he obliged. And I just liked the fact that whatever he was saying to them, whatever he was teaching, he had them all engaged in a way that, we don't see often. We know it happens, or we know that our children are smart and they're engaged, and and we know that our educators can bring this out of our children. But I want people to be able to see it. And educators that have seen this image have marveled at that.
Let me go back here. Let me
No,
go
no,
back here. What I noticed here, practically every student in that class has their hand raised, and I could see the smile on his face. I think he realized that he was really reaching them. This is what this image tells me. And so, no doubt in my mind that these kids, they probably, if not all of them, majority of them went on to do better things. And it's because of the right teacher, the right mentor. Uh, this means a lot. This means a whole lot. Wow, wow.
You know,
what means a lot is that you see that from this image. I
Yes.
mean, I gave you some background, but it means so much to me to have people look at these images and get it and get the point, or be able to relate to it in a way. Whether you have a child in that class, or whether you went to this school, or whether you're from New York or whatever, the important thing is that you be able to relate to it, and that the image resonates in a way that evokes a memory or something that is meaningful.
yeah, and I think it's also great because you don't see too many. Well, it's better now, but like I don't know. Then again, it kind of is kind of scarce. I think it depends on where you're at in the region. But I was gonna say, in regards to having a black male educator, because especially in today's times, um, there isn't a lot of fathers in the home. So when you do have that black male educator in the school that could be a role model or a father figure, I think that's very beneficial to the community. Is well, more particularly to the young black boys. So just to see that this picture and to see the smile on his face is very
Mhm.
enlightening within itself.
It is.
And
And
also
you know,
seeing that,
Robert,
yeah,
go ahead, Robert.
and also seeing the students are being engaged with the teacher, and also
That's
being able
right.
to show that they have showing that they have some interest, that they want to participate, and they
Hmm.
feel that they are intelligent. They know that they have, um, making them not just the sense of being a sense of just participating in the class, but also
Hmm.
this understanding that they want to be there.
Hmm. This tells you, Cheryl, how important that instructor is. They want to learn from him. They can't wait. Call me, teach. Call me first. Call me. And I believe this: if children are engaged, they learn. They
You're absolutely
learn.
right. And one of the points is to dispel the myth that our children don't want to learn, or our
Yes,
children aren't capable of learning, or some negative idea about uh, uh, how we're educated.
absolutely, no question about it. Let's do this.
Okay, this is
Oh boy,
double Dutch
double
bunch,
Dutch.
and I see we're we're kind of getting close to at the end of the time, so I won't talk as much about each image, um,
Yeah.
unless
Okay.
unless you want to ask some questions. But this is Double Dutch Bunch, and um, all of them are grown up at this point. But Double Dutch, as you know, plays a huge role in outdoor, has played and still plays a huge role in activities and in our culture. And I just wanted to capture this, again, children playing outside, and also a memory of how important that is to engage
Right.
in each other and play. And they're all they're all adults with children at this point.
Right.
Next
Right. Right.
questions or comments.
Okay. Okay. We have to bring you back so we can go over some of the. Oh boy. Okay. Oh yeah, we all remember this.
Now this is
Playing
card
cards.
game. This is card game. Little background. This is a community store on New York Boulevard, which is now Guy R. Brewer Boulevard in Jamaica, Queens. And this was a community store. You could come here uh, at that store after work or whenever you needed to.
Uh
And
huh.
it was a storefront, and you could find out what was going on in the community news. It was also a place that this was back in 88, 89 when Jesse Jackson was running for president. You could register to vote there. You could obviously you could play cards, you could gamble, you could also play a number there. But if you look on the
Right.
show real closely, you can see there's also a book, and I didn't even realize this, but it was by Langston Hughes, probably a book of poems that has Langston Hughes' name on it.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of stuff
I
going
see.
on in this image. They're playing cards, and Mr. Sonny is on the sitting on the counter with the money in his hand.
Hmm.
I guess he's counting the money.
Okay.
And on the other side of the counter, that's Jaime. He's watching the game, and Boo is looking at Ham's hand. Ham is in the white shirt, and then in the back you'll see Pablo with his head down, and then you see just the hand, a woman's hand, and this is like a man's kind of dominion, but or domain, I guess. You'll see
Right.
Ida's hand there, but it was, this was a place that was run by a numbers banker who was the epitome of the community. He helped bury people. He helped pay for people's college education. He helped people start their businesses. He had a sports management company. He did a lot of things. He gave back to the community.
Wow.
But in our community's numbers is the lotto, and it existed way before.
Hey.
And so this was a way to keep money in our community, although it was illegal in the eyes of law until they made it legal with the lottery. So this was
Hmm.
where
Of
you could
course.
and engage in whatever, get all the information from the community. You know, who passed away, where the funeral was, who's getting married, who went to the pros. You know, who you're rooting for politics. It was a great institution. Next slide.
That's a story in itself. And what's the gentleman's name?
Cornbread. I'm glad you asked that.
Sitting on the table.
By the way, no, Sonny, Mr. Sonny, but Cornbread is the proprietor,
Sonny.
Robert Gray, but the owner of the store, the proprietor, came up from Knoxville, Tennessee, and how I got this access is because my brother befriended him, and he didn't have any place to stay, and unbeknownst to all of us, my brother let him stay in our basement, and unbeknownst to our parents and everybody. And so he had been a fixture in my life, for as long as I can remember. So, Mr.
All right.
Sonny, Jaime, Boo, Ham, Pablo, and Ida. Next slide.
That's a story in itself. Oh, and this one.
Yeah, this is Grandma and OG. This is my grandmother and
Your grandmother.
my son. And
Wow.
she, and if you look at her eyes, so she passed soon after that image was taken. He was 9 months then.
Oh no.
So she didn't really live to see him, but she loved him. She loved him, and she took care of him, and she took care of us. My mother passed away when I was very young, and so she stepped in, and so this is very near and dear. This image is very near and dear to me in terms of
Right.
the relationship that they had.
Right. Grandmothers are so precious. This is the last image here. Oh boy, I remember this because my mom was a beautician and she worked 3 jobs. And her other job, after she got off the other 2, she would come home and she would do hair right there in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
I remember she had a warm plate. What is that? What you call them? Or a hot plate? Where she put her iron. Hot plate. Okay, tell us about this. I'm gonna be quiet because we only have a minute.
You summed it up. The title of this is "Burning Hair," because she is straightening her hair. A lot of times you would see the smoke, and if you look far enough in the back, you'll see the flame of the stove where she put the straightening comb. And
right.
I know these 2 folks as well.
Right. Hey, now did she use Sterno? My mom used some Sterno. Had the
she used
warmer device.
The gas stove.
Oh, she used the stove.
If you look enough back, you see the flame of the stove. She used that to heat up.
Okay. Well, I know my mom used both, but anyway, Cheryl, amazing. I want to thank you so. Let's see. Let's go here. We have to. Give you. Oh boy, Raleigh, our friend Rock, and I can't thank Rock enough. She is the reason why you're here. She works behind the scene. We've been trying to get Rock on for a while. She says, nope, nobody. Let me stay behind the scenes. She's doing such a great job. I'm just going to leave it alone till she decides to come on, right?
But she said, you got to do this. I'm like, wait, what?
We got it. Okay. So you are coming back, right?
Absolutely.
Please.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Tiffany, any final thoughts?
No, I wish we had some more time, but because I would love to see more photos and just kind of pick your brain. Crazy thing is, I got my degree in digital filmmaking, and I'm a writer, so I would definitely be hitting you up.
We need to talk for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely be hitting you up. Actually, I was just in Pennsylvania for the 4th, and had I known that we were so close, but that's another time. But I would definitely like to possibly work with you.
Let's stay in touch for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you both, all of you, I should say, for being so gracious.
Yes. And what we're going to do, I will put your information up again, and then let Robert speak. Go on, Robert.
Yes, thank you once again, Sister Miller, for being here. And just to give a little bit more of an intuitive side of what photography is, we know a lot of people who are in photography who give more of a, it also gives a, we would say it gives a little bit more of a great understanding about the art of photography. It's not just,
Hmm.
shooting pictures, taking selfies, or anything of that nature. There is a
Right.
definite a as an art to it, a skill to it. It's a craft, really. And from the photos we've seen today, you definitely have mastered your craft. And
Mhm.
Thank you.
also, well, and continuing to study in it as well.
Mhm.
Thank you very much for that. That can't be
And
said enough about the art of photography because it is somewhat taken for granted because everybody has a camera and
okay.
everybody can take image,
Oh,
make images. So I appreciate that.
and sure. Yeah, sure. Even my sister's listening. I'm going to say this. She says, what did she say? Straightening comb, curlers, and royal crown.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah,
There
she
you
used to watch
go.
my mom, so she. Okay.
That's a
Wow.
mystery
This
of
has
book.
been absolutely.
Thank you for that.
This has been absolutely amazing, and we'll stay in tune. Okay, we'll stay in tune.
Thank
We would like for you to come back.
you so
We'll
much.
check our schedules on, and I can't thank you enough. Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
and look, have a wonderful time.
When my
And
book comes out,
please,
when my book comes out, definitely
oh yeah, let's talk about
I'll
that.
get back with you guys as well.
Oh, thank
Mhm.
you so much. Really appreciate that. And please share this broadcast, with your friends, your fans, your followers, and let them know that they can come back and listen to it again in its entirety
Wow,
tomorrow. They can go on YouTube
that's
and
awesome.
listen to it its entirety on YouTube. It'll be up on Spotify, Google Play, Apple CarPlay, Alexa. Well, it's playing on live on Alexa, so that's not going to repeat. But our website, guys, we need you to go to our website and go to www.studiow.buzz. Studio W. Buzz. It's been an absolute treat. Okay.